Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit to do and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Wednesday, November 24th, coming at you a day early. It is the Thanksgiving holiday. If you were traveling, if you've already traveled, hope you guys are safe. Hope you're enjoying it with your family. If you're traveling tomorrow, be safe and enjoy this. It's I don't know about you. I've already gotten to watch some basketball. It kind of felt like Saturday already today. There were a lot of sports on. It was nice.
Like all day too. I think they started at 11.
Day. I loved it. I watched the Auburn UConn game. I watched all the way through. Happy Thanksgiving, Julie. Love you.
Hey, girl.
Auburn, UConn, and then Wisconsin and St. Mary's are the games that I watched all the way through today. So it's been already like weekends off to a hot start. So I love it. It's been a good time. Going to be a lot of good football tomorrow. Eat. Here's my routine. Eat, fall asleep during the Lions game, and wake back up for the evening cap of football. That's my Thanksgiving routine. I'm sure a lot of people have similar ones. It's also Vandy week. We'll be back in town Saturday for the game to cap off the 2021 season. And I also want to let you guys know that Tennessee won a Retro Bowl tonight. You're welcome.
Dude, y'all were tweeting about that in the group text today, and I was like, y'all are going to get me hooked. Like, I'm going to have to download it.
The problem, it's not playing. Playing, you can play so easy. It's creating all the teams takes time, and that's what really gets you.
Mm.
So that's where I lost it. But we are going to talk about Senior Day, Vanderbilt coming to town, and not great Vanderbilt team. Another opportunity for Tennessee just to take care of business, and they've done it to this point. And I'm excited to see kind of you get. I know it's Vanderbilt, but you get another SEC opponent that you get to take it to. So excited to see how Tennessee kind of capitalizes on some momentum before bowl season. They are already bowl eligible, but this could get you into a better bowl. If you play really, really good, maybe even sneak you into an even better bowl, because Tennessee already is, people want Tennessee because of the fans. Now let's make them want you because of the football.
Yeah, I think this could be a statement game for Tennessee. And, I know like Vanderbilt's always up for this game, but Tennessee was up for the game against South Alabama. I don't think there should be an issue with them getting up for this Vanderbilt game, with it being Senior Day, with being a lot at stake too. With the bowl game, you could really play yourself into a Florida Bowl if things kind of work out the way that, if Louisville maybe beats Kentucky, or Tennessee goes out and beats Vanderbilt by 70. I mean, a Florida Bowl is gonna want Tennessee there. I think the Music City Bowl is probably already doing their bidding for Tennessee. And so if we don't end up in Florida, you end up in Nashville. So kind of a bittersweet moment. You want to get to Florida, but if not, then you'll have that Nissan Stadium packed with Tennessee fans. Be fun too against a terrible Big Ten team.
Yeah, and I know we'll talk about it when the bowls are decided, or maybe even next week after the season's concluded, kind of where we want to be. But I think Nashville's a great bowl for Tennessee to be in, especially right now when you're trying to recruit. Speaking of that, we will talk some recruiting. We're actually going to bring on a special guest, reoccurring. This is going to have to become the Eric Cain show with Caleb and Landon, and I'm okay with that. We love having Eric Cain on, and we appreciate his time. He's going to get on here, talk some Tennessee football and recruiting with us. We'll do our college football picks. I've got some good locks. Going to have to get them in before tomorrow, though. That's when some of those games are kicking off. And if you got questions, drop them in the chat. We'd love to talk with you guys. Again, hope everybody's having a good night. Hope you're having a good long weekend. Hopefully you're off work. If you're working retail, I'm so sorry. I do not Black Friday shop. I disavow Black Friday shopping. I know Landon cannot do the exact same. His wife capitalizes on the Black Friday deals, but I disavow it entirely.
So, like, as the years have gone on, it's been more and more online, and I don't
That's
think
fair.
like
Okay. All right.
most of the stuff hasn't even been like most stuff isn't even open tomorrow.
Oh no, it has all like it's legitimately back to Black Friday, pretty much.
Right.
Like it is a Black Friday thing now
Yeah.
rather than a Black Thursday. So yeah, that is good. I've been watching the news a lot because I've been sitting with my grandmother. Turns out, yeah, and that too. I've watched like 14 straight Jeopardy episodes. So I'm gonna be good at Jeopardy by this. But apparently the deals aren't as good this year. So there you go. That supply chain, man. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I got a TV today, and it's weird. I got a 55-inch. You know, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I wanted a 50-inch.
Sounds like you're compensating for something.
I wanted a 50-inch, but a 50-inch TV is $100 more expensive than a 55-inch.
They do say sometimes it's too big. Maybe that is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks good. We'll see. I'll have to get your opinion. You'll have to come over, watch a game, and
I'd love to do that.
Maybe open a cold one, Dr. Pepper. That is, you know.
I'm in for cold Dr. Peppers always. So always. And then we got some segments, of course. Like I said, drop those questions. We'll get going. Let's go ahead and jump into the Vanderbilt game. We talked about it. This is a chance for Tennessee to capitalize on some momentum, to go in and just take care of business. This is a team that you're better than. I don't really know. I mean, Vanderbilt is just not good. Clark Lee has not had a lot of success this year. Credit to them. I think they have gotten better since losing to ETSU week 1, but they're not good. They haven't come a very long way since then. Tennessee's 31-point favorites. Vanderbilt's 0-7 in league play. I do think they are playing better football, but it's nowhere near the level that Tennessee is playing at right now.
Yeah, they looked a lot better against Ole Miss last week. And I guess that's just Tennessee's luck. You get to face the best Vanderbilt team that's been all year.
I don't know if it's Vanderbilt team.
It's still not good. I mean, you mentioned ETSU. That game wasn't even close. It was 23-3. And I think ETSU had a touchdown called back in that game, so it wasn't close. They've won 2 games against Colorado State and UConn by combined 5 points. I have all the stuff listed that they're last in the SEC as, so I'll just go ahead and list that.
Is it not all? Just
it pretty much, but this is if they're not last, they're like third or second to last and pretty much everything. So they're last in total offense, offensive passing, points per game, total defense, passing defense, scoring defense, sacks. They only have 9. I think the next lowest team in the SEC is South Carolina. I think they have 22. So yikes. Last in fumbles and last in return yards. So a whole bunch of stuff that Vanderbilt is just terrible. They're just terrible. They're bad.
Are they first in punt yards? Or are they not even first in that?
No, I don't think they're first in. Punt average, hell no. Maybe yards total. Maybe. I didn't look that
That's
up.
What I was hoping. You got it. I don't know if that's a real stat, but you got to win something. So maybe Clark Lee can dig that one out of the archives. You want to win something. I mean, everything you allude to tells you all you need. Yeah, I mean, but everything you read aloud tells you everything you need to know about this Vanderbilt team. I mean, their leading rusher has 413 yards on the year. So I mean,
it's just has more than that, doesn't he?
I'm really not sure. But I mean, it's just Kenny Sills. Is it Kenny? Is that his name?
Ken.
Sounds right to me. Ken Sills. He's Kenny. Kenny's cooler. We'll go with Kenny. That sounds more Nashville to me too. So I mean, like he's just not a good quarterback. I get that. There's no other way to describe it. And then you look at this Vanderbilt team who's given up an absurd amount of points for every team they played. You mentioned the 23 to ETSU. They gave up 41 to Stanford, 62 to Georgia. That was Georgia's first offensive explosion of the season. 42 to Florida. 45 to Mississippi State. 37 to Missouri, like 34 to Kentucky, like that right there. The credit to holding Ole Miss to 31, but I mean, they're just like, if you look at where they're at across the board and the things Tennessee can take it, like they're just not a good football team. There's no other way to slice it. Just go do what you did to South Alabama. From everything, how it played out at South Alabama, it doesn't seem that Josh Heupel pulls punches against the teams that aren't quite as good as his team, which is good. There were jokes flying on Twitter that this game would have been 17-10 at halftime in the last two coaching staffs were out there. And I believe that to be true because they did pull punches. But Josh Heupel doesn't seem to do that. So when we're talking about like this team, can Vanderbilt sneak up on you? I just don't see it happening. I don't see how Tennessee even comes. Like, I don't see how this is ever a close game. Vegas knows it's a 31-point spread, larger than South Alabama's. I mean, I don't think this will be a close ball game after the first play.
Larger than South Alabama's with a backup quarterback also.
Yes. I am surprised line didn't move when it was official because it wasn't official all week.
It might have. I don't know
if
it moved or not.
I don't think it ever got above 28. I don't think it did.
That should tell you. I mean, Ken Seals, yeah, he's their starting quarter, but I don't think he's started the last couple games. It's been Mike Wright. So the only way I think that Vanderbilt has any success in this game is a running quarterback. That's been Tennessee's Achilles heel all year. But I don't think they're good enough to make that successful. Like, I don't think their offensive line is good enough to block long enough where they can get a guy out of the pocket. I don't think, I just think Tennessee is better in every aspect of the football game.
Well, and you did bring up a good point, and I'll say this for any team. It's not really just Vanderbilt. If they can capitalize on, unfortunately, the third and fourth downs that Tennessee gets them into, if they can make plays from that, they may keep themselves in the ballgame for longer than, a quarter or two. Because Tennessee, like you said, talking about quarterbacks that are able, whether they're scrambling to run or, moving out of the pocket to throw downfield, they have been successful against Tennessee's defense. So when you look at it from that, if Vanderbilt's able to capitalize on those, then they may be able to find themselves in this ballgame at points.
They might be able to cover 31.
Fair. Yeah. In the ballgame, if you will. And Tennessee does. When you're talking about what Tennessee's got to get better at, they do have to find a way to get themselves off the field. And the thing that I think sucks for this defense, and it's why I was way higher on Tim Banks at the beginning of the year. Not saying I think he's bad right now or anything. But Tennessee does have to find, like, they shoot themselves in the foot. They get themselves into these third down, fourth down situations. If you're South Alabama converted more fourth downs than they did third downs. So you get yourselves, you do a great job first, second, and third down. And you just can't get off the field. You can't make the final play. Tennessee's defense has got to find a way to get off the field. And there's got to, like, who's going to be the guy to make the play? You talked about running quarterback. Who's going to be is Byron Young going to be he can't do it all night, but is he going to be consistent enough to get to the quarterback on fourth down, on third down? Is a linebacker going to make a play before he can get into the secondary? Like, there's got to be someone that wants to get off the field. Because
can a linebacker make a quarterback regret tucking it and running it? I would say Trotter for South Alabama. He regretted some of those with Jeremy Banks coming in.
Yeah. I mean, you do. I mean, credit to him. I mean, we talked about with Kenny Pickett. Stetson Bennett had a play where I was like, all right, he may not run again. And they just stayed with it. And it's tough to beat guys that just stay with it. So credit to them for that. But yeah, I mean, you just got to find a way to get off. I mean, it really sucks too, because I think Tennessee's defense has improved immensely on first and second down throughout the season. But your third and fourth downs have just really let you down so far.
Yeah, got to find a way. A lot of seniors that have been with this program for a long time. I kind of mentioned some of those. I might have missed one, but I'm sure I've missed some. But like the ones that are, kind of key players for this team: Matthew Butler, Velus Jones, Lante Taylor, Caleb Tremblay, Cade Mays, Jaquan Blakely, Theo Jackson, Javante Payton, Grant Firking is another guy. So I know Lante Taylor could come back, but from the sound of Tim Banks and Josh Heupel today, it sounds like he's, and him getting that invite to the Senior Bowl, he's probably Gone. Can't blame him for that. Hey, you've been here a long time. You outlasted Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah, that's definitely saying something. I credit to a lot of these. I think this scene, like when I was like I was gonna be out of town Thursday, Friday, and potentially Saturday, and I was like, I really would like to get back for the game. I want to see these seniors, what they did this offseason. Obviously, the coaching staff has a ton to do with that, and credit to them what they've been able to come in and change the culture. But for those seniors to buy in, not just to buy in, to be a part of the program, but to buy in and be leaders. Like, and a lot of that's just you got to be on the same page as the coaching staff. But a lot of these guys, Matthew Butler, Alontae Taylor, Bayless Jones Jr., like and that's just a few off the top of my head. They not only bought in to be a part of the program, they bought in to lead the program. And with Tennessee's season this year, they were all key components in that. If Tennessee finds success in the next few years, they'll be credited with being the catalyst for that too.
Yeah, I think they should get a ton of credit for buying in. That seems to be what changed people's thoughts on this team so quickly. And I think it kind of steamrolled like it. A guy like Hendon Hooker that was new, it helped him tremendously. Having guys like a Bayless Jones, like a Cedric Tillman, some of those guys that have been in this program for a long time, it really helped them increase their play or increase their production. So, yeah, they should be remembered for sticking it out. When a lot of people, especially this past offseason, didn't stick it out, they went to greener pastures and hopefully getting this program back on course.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean we hope so, and I do. Joe asked a question, so I want to answer it because I think I still stand by my statement. I think I do. I said at the beginning of the year, if you lose to, because we talked about how to get bowl eligible, and we had the Bowling Green. Let's see, Bowling Green, Tennessee Tech, South Alabama, Vanderbilt were 5 guaranteed wins. I named 5. Oh, and in South Carolina, we said there were 5 guaranteed wins. And I said, if you lose to South Alabama or Vanderbilt at the end of the season to not get bowl eligible, which you are bowl eligible, I said, fire him immediately. Like, don't even try to just end it. So on the very highly, like Joe said, very crazy unlikely, what in the world would happen if Tennessee loses this game?
I mean, you're going to have a lot. You put yourself on the hot seat for sure. This is I have another question. Would this be a worse loss than Georgia State?
I think no, you can't say it's worse than Georgia State. Because also, I mean, I guess it depends on how you lose. Because a lot of looking back at Georgia State, I'm like, that was some uninspired football.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I mean, it's just I can't fathom losing to this Vanderbilt team with the way Tennessee's played the last several weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I would think I would probably be more mad if we lost to Vanderbilt than I was as mad as we lost to Georgia State. Just because, yeah, it's a rivalry. It's an in-state rivalry. We don't like them. Their 3 fans don't like us. So I think
4.
that it would be
Are you counting the whistler?
Okay, 4. Sorry. Does he whistle at the football games? I'm sure he could.
I don't think so.
They're
the crowd is bigger at baseball games. So you could definitely hear it at football games.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think this would be a worse loss in my opinion than Georgia State. Not from a maybe talent standpoint, but just because of who they are, I think it's worse.
Yeah, and too when you talk about and I said it last week, after playing Georgia and Alabama this year, and I think you could even throw Florida in the mix. I know they're having a bad season since playing Tennessee. Someone also mentioned on Twitter, we do got to remember Florida almost knocked off Alabama the week before.
Oh yeah.
I said it. I've been saying it, but that's a good kind of reminder. This is not the same Florida team that Tennessee played. It's not. So
I will say this about Florida: when you see something that's wrong and you're losing, and there's no end in sight, you take out the trash.
Yeah. Now,
props for them for making a decision kind of quickly.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about some coaching carousel. I have a question about the Florida job later. I don't want to get into that right now, but I do. Okay. Maybe we'll get into that talk some college football. But yeah, you're talking about right now. Tennessee's trying to get back to competitive because I mean, when you lay it out, the teams you're supposed to beat, you're always supposed to beat Kentucky and Vanderbilt in the SEC. Like you even with your worst coaches, even in some of your worst seasons in school history, like you still managed to do that.
Right.
So you just you got to beat them. And you talk about wanting to close the gap with Georgia and Alabama. You're not doing that if you lose to Vanderbilt. We talk about in-state recruiting, and that's why I think a Music City Bowl could be good for Tennessee. Well, in-state recruiting, you lost to an in-state rival who shouldn't be anywhere near you right now. So it's just you cannot lose to Vanderbilt. I might throw my Titleist on the field if we lose to Vanderbilt. It'll get I might riot if it happened. Crazy unlikely, so it's crazy unlikely I riot. I might riot.
You should.
I might do it.
I might riot just because.
Yeah, just even if we win, because Vanderbilt's in town. I like that.
If we don't cover the spread, you should riot.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Mark me down.
I mean, good God, it would be a huge step back. I think if this is a close game, I think it's a huge step back because you've proven throughout this whole entire season that you can beat the teams you're supposed to beat. You know, you're still behind the 8 ball when it comes to Georgia, Alabama, but you're heading in the right direction, beating the teams you should beat. This is another team you should absolutely take care of.
I won't go as far to say if you don't cover. That's a lot of points, number one. Number two, it is an in-state rivalry. Vanderbilt's always going to get up for it. It is Thanksgiving
I'm definitely
week.
Not betting on that.
Yeah, it is Thanksgiving week. I think that favors the traveling team. So I won't go that far, but when we talk about winning or losing, I will riot.
Yeah, I bet on them last week. I don't want to overstay my welcome, so I'm going to stay away this week.
Oh, you took the Vols to cover last week?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It was nice. Nice. It feels good. It feels good to actually pick the Vols and it working out.
100%.
The Vols are making me money. I love it. I couldn't be happier.
I feel like you broke a cardinal rule there. We don't bet on Tennessee, Landon.
It was an absolute lock, though. It was a lock.
Fair.
I can't hope. When locks come my way, I just take them.
That fair. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We are going to continue talking some Tennessee football, but with a special guest. We're going to welcome onto the show Eric Cain. Eric's joined us a couple times. I know you guys are familiar with him. WNML. He also does Locked On Vols. Eric, how you doing tonight, man?
I think we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. You're on mute.
I was on mute. See, I do radio and I podcast every single day, yet I don't know when to take myself off mute. So, hey, what's up, guys? How are we doing tonight, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys and everybody watching and listening.
You too, man. Did you just come from Thanksgiving?
We actually went to some family's house and did breakfast for dinner because knowing the turkey and everything else that's coming tomorrow. But Thanksgiving-ish, if you will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's really good to have you on. Really good to see you. It's been a while since we last had you on. Tennessee's basically went through a whole season since then. And what's your biggest kind of takeaway from this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been exciting. It's been a complete 180, right, compared to what it's been like with Jeremy Pruitt and Jim Chaney and Derek Ansley. I think that I'm impressed with Josh Heupel. I think that he's done a really, really nice job. Really impressed with his ability to scheme up matchups and have guys run open down the field. Defensively struggled here lately, of course, towards the back half of the season. You have no depth. You have no linebackers. But I think Ryan John Murray, the linebacker coach in particular, has done more with anything he's had, compared to anybody else in the country, with the 3 guys that they're playing there at that position. But it's been impressive. I think it's been exciting for the fans. I think you can see that some things are the foundation is being laid culture-wise that is a good sign. In year 2, you need to start tackling the big 3 a little bit more because, again, they ended in all blowouts this year. But off to a good start. I've been very impressed. They have surpassed my expectations in a couple of areas this year for sure.
So that was my question about expectations, because you did say you were impressed with Tennessee, and I know when we talked about just wins losses, I think you had them about 6-6 when we had you on the show. Obviously with potential wins in there to Kentucky. So as far as wins losses, maybe expectations aren't. I mean, they didn't crazy exceed. They obviously are going to a bowl game, get a chance to potentially get 8 wins now. Where do you think the biggest place that this team has succeeded? Is it a specific position? Is it a unit? Like where do you see this team that you're like, there's no way they can perform, and they did that this year?
Hendo Cinco. I mean, it all starts with the quarterback. We know this, right? If you don't have good quarterback play, I mean, you're so far behind the 8 ball. You can't win in this league if you don't have good quarterback play. And Tennessee has not had that in the last couple of years. And Joe Milton came in, won the job in camp. He's still, in terms of, when you stack up everything with him and Hendon Hooker, he still has the higher ceiling, and that's still true today. But man, Hendon Hooker ain't bad, right? I mean, he started 16 games at Virginia Tech throughout his career. I mean, that was an amazing insurance policy to have. And then the way he's performed this year in this offense, he's so accurate. He's so efficient. He throws a beautiful ball. He makes smart decisions for the most part. His touchdown to interception ratios off the charts. So, I mean, the fact that Tennessee figured out quarterback, we'll see exactly what he wants to do. I feel, this is just my opinion, but I feel like he will be back next year, but I don't think it's the slam dunk everybody thinks it's going to happen. We'll see exactly what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, but you found your quarterback for this year, potentially next year. And, Tennessee, that offense has gotten off to great starts and I think because of the tempo, it shocks the defense there in the first quarter. That's why they've had so much first quarter success. But the fact that Tennessee found success at quarterback, and you've seen just the way this offense has thrived. I mean, you're talking about an offense that averaged 21 points a game last year. Yeah. You're up to 38 this year. Quite the uptick. And it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to cover. And I know that there's a lot in that area to get fans excited about.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
I just want to stay on the quarterback topic. Me and Landon talked about this when it was clear that Hendon Hooker was the best quarterback on the roster. How did Joe Milton win it out in camp? Like, what is your perspective from that? Being around practice some, I know periods are mostly not a lot of the periods you necessarily want to see, but why do you think that is that Joe Milton won it out in camp?
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because, we get to see stuff, but we don't get to see hardly anything. And so, there's so much that goes on that we don't see. But we do see when we see him throw routes on air, we see him throw a little bit at 7-on-7. The first 3 days of camp, we got to see an hour's worth, and we got to see inside run. We got to see true 7-on-7. We got to see a little bit of 11-on-11, which was really, really cool because since I've been covering the program, we've never got to see more than the normal 20-minute period. And then after those first 3 days, it went to that normal 20-minute period. But, just observing the quarterbacks, I thought it was Joe Milton by far looked the best of anybody. His release was quick, good mechanics, good footwork. He, stood tall in the pocket like we saw, in the early going of the season. But I think because there's so much more that we don't get to see, like Hendon Hooker, a great thing about him is his ability to extend plays and to, use his legs in the run game and to, scramble around. In practice, you can't, they're going to blow it dead because they don't want you to hit the quarterback. And so I think that might have been just one of the reasons why, he might have been overlooked in camp as well. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of luck, and Joe Milton goes down with injury. Hendon Hooker steps in and never relinquishes it, and he's looked really, really good. It's not like Hendon Hooker was bad in camp. I personally believe everybody I've talked to, it was Joe Milton from the get go, and he performed well and he earned it.
Well, even during the spring game, it felt like Hendon Hooker wasn't the starter out of Brian Maurer and Harrison Bailey, and for those two not even to be with this team anymore. It's again going back to the 180.
Yeah. The spring game was so unique because everything that we've heard and saw in spring, it was Hendon Hooker was by and large the best quarterback. You get into the spring game, and Hendon Hooker looked like the third best quarterback. He looked awful. I mean, he really did.
Terrible.
And Harrison Bailey looked like an all-star. And give Harrison Bailey credit. He took advantage of what was happening. I mean, he threw long balls, completed passes. I mean, Landon, you and I were playing cornerback in that game, and he was taking advantage of it, right? So, but that's why I was like, you can't it was such a vanilla game plan. I mean, Tennessee's defense was, nobody was out there playing. And so you couldn't put too much stock into there. But you're right. I mean, he he did not look good in that spring game. Whereas I think he was the better quarterback in the close scrimmages, but I think he was also, just like they all were, I think he was also learning. I mean, that was just practice 15 ever in this system. And so, I mean, I think it finally clicked somewhere during camp. And then once he got in against Pittsburgh, the rest is history.
Just a gamer. And Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And when my family gets together, we always have some sports debates. So I got a question for you, Eric. We can debate it if you want. Who deserves more credit for this team's season, Josh Heupel or Hendon Hooker?
Well, I would say, I mean, it starts with the head man, right? I would say Josh Heupel for sure. Implementing his offense, implementing his scheme, again, scheming up, getting the matchups. I mean, his play designs, I've watched every single play of this football game, of this football team twice this year, because I watched it in real time and then I go back and watch it the next day. And I miss a lot of stuff in real time, but when you go back and watch the tape, man, you pick up on such little things like, just motioning out to tandems, then running a slant in just to spread out the defense, moving an H-back in motion, then, pulling him to kick out the men on line of scrimmage, just little stuff like that. Like, his concepts are really intriguing. And I've really liked kind of learning and watching those as the season's gone on. So I would say Josh Heupel. Plus, I mean, from more of a, a technical, getting outside of the X's and O's. I mean, those guys love playing for him, right? I mean, he came in from day one and said, "Hey, what do you guys want from me?" And they said, "Hey, we want accountability and we want, camaraderie. We want a coaching staff that loves us, that'll coach us hard, but we want a coaching staff that'll love us." And, he's loved them hard. He's coached them hard. And, I think all those guys love playing for him. So I would say Josh Heupel, and that's no slouch to Hendon Hooker. He's been incredible. Yeah. Again, if Joe Milton was the starter for the next, 4 or 5 games after the season opener, Tennessee might not have had the success and certainly the numbers offensively that obviously they did with Hendon Hooker. So he deserves a lot of credit, but I'd go with Josh Heupel.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to debate it. I would probably go same thing anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to Landon's Thanksgiving so I can debate sports. I know that.
Awesome. It's the old man debates, okay? It's the Jordan, LeBron, it's Brady, Manning.
So that was one of the big talking points on our show this morning at the starting lineup, and it's okay. So you're sitting around the table tomorrow, Thanksgiving dinner. Here are the sports topics that will get everybody up in arms, everybody fighting.
Oh yeah,
kneeling for the national anthem, LeBron versus MJ, it's name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal. It's ruining football. Those are some hot topics for sure.
There was a topic on Twitter before we got on. It was, if Hendon Hooker comes back next year, is it a bigger impact than when Peyton Manning came back?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
I mean,
that was a national championship caliber team.
That's it. You ended there. One team had a chance to win a national championship. One team's going to try to fight to win 9 games. Like that's it.
I mean,
it ends there.
I love the excitement. I think it'd be amazing. And if he does come back, he's going to get a massive name, image, and likeness deal. And if I'm Tennessee all offseason, I am pumping. I am driving the train for him to win the Heisman. Yeah. He won't win the Heisman, but VFL Films, heck, you spend all offseason pumping him up, putting him on people's radars. It'd be incredible. But
he might be on that week 1 list.
Yeah, he might make more money here next year than he would in the NFL.
I mean, name, image, and likeness. Again, it's huge in recruiting. It's also going to be huge with recruiting your own team to stay another year.
Absolutely, and Tennessee obviously has the resources to do that. And I think that's I know we want to talk some recruiting, and I want to talk about this team or the staff's, I guess, troubles with right now with what they have. What is it? Just you got to win ball games? Is that, or is it? Is everybody still wait and see mode? Because I think you were hoping by the time you get to November. Tennessee did have a recruit commitment roll in this week. Is it still wait and see mode for most of the recruiting class?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird, man. I mean, Tennessee picked up its first commit in over 100. I think I pulled up the day calculator or whatever when I was writing my piece on Joshua Josephs. It was 109 days. I mean, that is incredible, right? So I think it was kind of shocking that it took so long. I mean, Tennessee's going to get a couple of more commits. You got the early signing day in about 3.5 weeks. Tennessee will get some more commits before that time. And it wouldn't shock me. I mean, a number of these guys are going to take this all the way up to signing day. And so they might not, they might not commit before signing with Tennessee. So it might be a little bit more wait and see. But at this point, you're not really waiting anymore. Like you pointed out, I mean, you're through the tough part of your schedule. You had South Alabama. You're going to have Vanderbilt on Saturday, which, again, you don't take anything lightly, but it should be another easy dub. So I think it's just about, like, with these main targets, like, Christian Harrison, he's going to announce on Monday between Nebraska, Florida, and Tennessee. But Justin Williams, James Pierce, Michael Caraway, Marquise Gilbert, who Tennessee will have as an official visitor, Keontae Scott, Jeffrey Umba, Caleb Webb, Cody Jones, Caden Pope, Sebastian Cheeks, Demario Tolan, Walter Nolan. Well, not really Walter, but anyway, I mean, all those guys, it's kind of like, all right, let's get our last couple of visits in. Let's wait and let's make an informed decision. So, I mean, Tennessee's in with all those guys I just mentioned. I did a pod tomorrow. I recorded a pod earlier today for tomorrow, Locked On Balls. It's just all recruiting, just especially for recruiting. Yeah. And all those guys are kind of, very involved with Tennessee. And I think that Tennessee can land a number of them, but it's just, let me finish off these recruits or these visits. Let me talk with my family, and then let's make an informed decision.
So, Caden Pope, it's a weird one, right? Because,
yeah.
I mean, he just committed to Mississippi State, I think, right before we got on here. So, is that one done, or?
See, that's news to me. I didn't know that until you just broke the news to me. So, so it's been weird, right? I mean, you mentioned it, Caden Poe. There was a lot of traction there back in the summer. Came for an official visit. Was up here a couple of other times and seemed to be really vibing with Cody. Cody Burns and all that. And then it just kind of stopped, right? And then there was not much traction, not much talking, and everything. And then he came around campus a couple of weeks ago again. So you thought that door might be open, but I think that ship's kind of sailed for a long time. With recruiting, you guys know as better as anybody. I mean, it's never over until, they sign. So
or until they're on campus now.
Yeah, exactly. And last year, sometimes that's not the case, right?
Yeah. Doesn't always work that way either.
I think Tennessee does want another wide receiver, though. Caden Pope was kind of a thought, but he's probably not priority number one anymore.
Okay, cool. Joshua Josephs. Caleb mentioned that we got to commit on Monday. What does Tennessee kind of get out of the edge rusher from Kennesaw, Georgia?
So I talked to his linebackers coach at North Cobb, and he said he's been coaching high school football in Georgia for 25 years. And, we know that's some great high school football talent down
Absolutely.
there. He said he is the best pass rusher he's ever coached there. And so I thought that was kind of some high praise.
Okay.
Can come off the edge. He'll play that Leo spot like Byron Young and Tyler Barron. And keep in mind, too, Tennessee has 3 Leos right now. Roman Harrison, Tyler Barron, Byron Young. Those are the only 3 they have. And so, they need more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Joshua Josephs can rush the passer. He's strong. He's got good bend. He can also line up as a traditional linebacker. He can play outside of the box. He's got a ton of picks in this high school career. He can kind of just do it all. He's very strong. He's quick. His coach said that he takes 2 steps and covers 6 yards. So that's something awesome. I think he's a guy that needs to gain some weight. He's only about 205, so you need to gain about 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, and that can be easily done once you get in this campus and get in this program. I think he's a guy that can play and can play early. And Tennessee has liked him, has been after him for quite some time, and that's why you don't want to get caught up in star rating, right? He's a 3-star by Rivals. Well, this staff loves Joshua Josephs, and it was a big victory on Monday.
Awesome.
And two with I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to get away too much from recruiting, but I mean, it's going to be obvious with this depleted roster that the transfer portal is just as important, if not more, because you need immediate impacts. How many can this staff realistically get? Are there people that have maybe been on the radar? I know it's hard to even talk to transfers, even if they're in the portal during your season. But are there guys that Tennessee could be getting that in the transfer that could make an immediate impact come 2022?
Yeah. I haven't been on portal watch much during the season. In the coaching staff, they have support staff that watches that portal like crazy.
Right.
The guy from Georgia Tech, the running back, I'm forgetting his name. He's been rumored to enter the portal.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, either he's been that guy. Either he's in it or he's been rumored or whatever. Like if that guy were to enter the portal, Tennessee be all over it. I mean, he would fit perfectly, right? But Tennessee's going to be very active in the transfer portal, just like it was this offseason. Will it work out to the caliber that it did this year? Probably not. I mean, keep in mind, like Tennessee, what it's got from Hendon Hooker Javonte Payton, right? Caleb Tremblay and Deshaun Terry. Those guys have played some, roles on that defensive line. It's been huge. But Tennessee, I think, will be very active in the portal. I'm expecting Tennessee to sign here in December, maybe, 16-ish, 17-ish. Don't quote me on that number. It can change by the day. Maybe sign another one or two in February, but then the rest is going to come from the portal, right? I mean, I really believe that. And so, and a lot of that will have to wait because you're about to see a wave come up. So, at the FCS level, that wave was this week. Tennessee will play Vanderbilt, and then it'll be bowl season. Then you're going to see the FBS wave. All these guys entering the portal, and that's when you'll see Tennessee evaluate, vet, and try to bring in some guys. Now, another thing to remember too is the number. We don't really know what the number is right now. There's that rule saying that if you lose a certain amount in the transfer portal, you can take up to 7 more and go to 32. I don't think Tennessee will be up to 32, but that number also. It counts like the super seniors that will return. That number counts for that too. And Tennessee won't know that. No team will know that for probably a couple of weeks. And so it's all very confusing. It's all, kind of wait and see. And Tennessee could very well, sign some more players up until April or May, like they did this past year. But to answer your question in a long form fashion, I do expect Tennessee to be very active in the transfer portal. You need a tackle. You need defensive line help. You need linebacker like crazy.
Oh yeah. I think I would just take every linebacker that wants to.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
Come on down. We'll see what happens. Yeah. It can't be any worse, right? And then maybe a wide receiver as well, because Tennessee likely going to lose obviously Javonte Payton and Bayless Jones. So Tennessee will need some help there.
So the transfer portal, it's really big. Like, what is the thought process? Is it from like Tennessee's standpoint? From when you're looking at a transfer, if he has like multiple years or if he's a grad transfer, or like the multiple years guys, do they carry that same weight as a high school prospect?
Yeah, but they're probably a little further developed in terms of body type, and that's what you want. Even if you've only been in a program for a year, I mean, your body should be further along than a guy that you're evaluating out of high school right now. I know that Tennessee obviously took both of those type of players in the transfer portal last year. Deshaun Terry is probably the best example. I mean, he has like 3 years or 4 years maybe, plus that COVID year. Kamal Haddon has multiple years. Brandon Turnage has multiple years. Guys like that. But then they also took a Hendon Hooker, obviously, but he was Jeremy Pruitt. Joe Milton would be in that category. But then Tennessee also took, Jawan Mitchell, who, had 1 year coming into this year. Technically, I think he has 1 year left now because he can redshirt, but I don't really know if he's going to be a part of the program this time next year. But like Javonte Payton was a perfect example. Like, okay, you have 1 year left, come in here, ball out. So I think it just depends on the situation, but you want guys with multiple years left. That way you can actually treat it like, kind of like you said, like a prep player. But the positive is their body type is already further along, and they could probably, if they come in and grasp and compete, they could probably help a lot sooner than that guy you're bringing out of high school right now.
Gotcha. And then you always got to keep a lookout for why are they transferring. There's always a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, again, that's why so many people, and you should make a big deal about the transfer portal because it's such a resource now and it's helped Tennessee out. But the transfer portal will never take the place of traditional recruiting. It just won't. Right. I mean, traditional recruiting is what builds your roster. It's what builds your team, and you can supplement from the portal. But yeah, I mean, sometimes they just want a fresh start. That's fine. Sometimes they feel like they got screwed over. I mean, that's fine. But sometimes they're told to go in the transfer portal and they were a cancer to the locker room. And so you got to be on the lookout for that.
I think the big question that everybody came to listen to was Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
What happened? Is Tennessee still in that one? Like, I guess a lot of people just don't get it.
I feel like, the door is cracked. I mean, I feel like there's no momentum there. I feel like there's hardly any traction, but the door is cracked. It's not shut. I feel like A&M, obviously A&M got the commit a couple weeks ago. I mean, he went down there like every weekend, right? I mean, the flyer miles that family has, good grief. But, I think all signs point towards College Station right now. But, with that recruitment, it's had so many different ups and downs and loops and turns. And like if I've said this about any recruit, I'll say it is never more true. Regarding to him, it's I will believe he is going to that school when he signs that national letter of intent. Tennessee needs to get him on campus. If Tennessee has a prayer of trying to sway him back to Knoxville, he needs to be on campus. Thought it would be for Georgia. Didn't end up happening, I don't believe. Trying to get him officially. That was supposed to be an official, too. If you can get him to come visit officially in one of these weekends in December, that would be huge. But I don't think that there's much traction kind of moving towards that. So I'm expecting him to go to A&M, but I will never say that it's completely done because, Tennessee will probably take one more swing at it. And if you can get him on campus, then who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's right here.
And Tennessee certainly hadn't given up. I think Tim Banks was it this week at the quarterback committee.
It's all strategy, man. All strategy.
Oh yeah. And I love it. It's a great kind of poke at the guy in the room, but also a great way to get his attention too. So I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of hilarious. And if you don't want to be coached by Rodney Garner, then I guess you don't want to be a good football player. You need to not want to be coached by him. Sitting here, I heard he was on the phone, just in the sitting in the crowd. But that's all strategy, man. All strategy.
Yeah, that gave me Ricky Bobby vibes. If you don't chew Big Red, then
then yeah.
And then I do have so we had this question. What happens if Tennessee loses? It was just we had to throw it out there. What happens if Tennessee loses on Saturday? What does it mean for this staff and this team?
I mean, it'd be awful. Remember back in 2018 when it was Jeremy Pruitt's first season, and they made some noise there in the middle part of the season, took down Auburn, took down Kentucky, right? And then got blown out by Vanderbilt, Missouri to end the season. Just blown out. And it's like, I mean, all the good things you did this year, it's washed, right? And so it would just I would be shocked if Tennessee were to lose to Vanderbilt. Right. And again, I never talk in absolutes, and at least I try not to, and I never try to take advantage of the opponent coming up. But I mean, I'm watching film of Vanderbilt. I am breaking down these numbers, going beyond the box scores. And guys, I mean, I'm not breaking news here. Vanderbilt is so bad, so bad. Offensively, defensively, at the line of scrimmage, they have gotten better, and it looks like they're playing hard. I mean, they gave Ole Miss a little bit of a run last week. They played really well against Kentucky in the second half 2 weeks ago. But and they have a mobile quarterback, so that's kind of a bugaboo for Tennessee. But what happens? I mean, outrage, and plus it's Vanderbilt too. Like, you don't lose to Vanderbilt. I mean, and Vanderbilt's beaten Tennessee more times than it needs to here lately.
Yeah, especially at home. You don't lose at home.
Yeah, so I would, if that were to happen, I would expect outrage. All the positive momentum Tennessee football had as a program would be washed, in my opinion. And if you lose to Vanderbilt at home to end the season, I guarantee you there'll be some fans calling for Josh Heupel's head for sure, just because that's the way college football works. But I'm not expecting that to happen.
A lot of mustard bottles.
Yeah. Good luck. Sure. Good luck screening those calls on Monday if it does happen.
Yeah, I'll probably let them just go through.
Just run it.
I love that.
Caleb, do you have any more questions?
That's it for me. We appreciate you hopping on always. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving, and we're gonna have to rename this the Eric Kane Show. We're just your co-host. So hope there's no copyright infringement when you see that on Twitter, the name change. So
not at all, guys. I love this is fun, man. Just chopping it up with you guys. We need to do it more. But I do have one question for both of you, if y'all got time for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, tomorrow you got Powell at West. Who you got? Sorry, Friday. Powell at West.
Friday, yeah.
I don't know if my wife's listening. Dude, that's gonna be a good game.
I think so too.
Is that the rivalry game?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is. Okay.
Oh man. Dude, Wes has been killing it.
Playing better football too towards the back half of the season. That's I think the toss up. I think Powell's offense has been playing better football than this time last year when they were out of the playoffs. So
Powell's been running the football too, really effectively.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Powell. I think they probably keep it rolling. I hope they don't, because then Raven has to go to Chattanooga on that Friday, and that's just another Friday night we don't get to hang out. But
yeah,
I think it's gonna be a really good game. I think that's the state championship for 5A.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great game. Wes has had to overcome so much this season. I mean, losing your best player, losing, overcoming some quarterback issues at the beginning of the season. But man, Lamar Brown's done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fantastic game. So I'm looking forward to it. If either team wins, it wouldn't surprise me because they're both just so hot right now.
Oh yeah,
I think it's gonna. I mean, I think a lot of high school football comes down to your best players, and I think Powell probably has. I'm with Landon. I think it's Powell. I think they have more of the talent, and I think when you have even teams like this, it's the playmakers that decide the game. So
absolutely,
yeah. And they overcame West. Their running back is out too, right? So it's a guy that's going to Michigan State. I forget his name, and then Barfield. I think.
Yeah, Shannon Blair's been out for a while. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's a huge loss. A wide receiver, returner, cornerback, all that type of stuff. That's why I think Lamar's done fantastic, and I saw Powell just shut down Ray County. We had that game last week, and
I was shocked.
I'll let you guys go. I'm taking up your
show.
No,
you're fine.
They ran the triple option, and Landon, you know this. They went foot to foot splits, right? So I mean, everything's like 8 yards, right? And they're just in there, and Powell put 5 men on the line of scrimmage, put 9 men in the box, put Walter Nolan at the nose, and he just blew everything up. I mean, Ray County didn't have a prayer. It was a great defensive game plan for Powell. So they're running the football effectively.
Doesn't Ray County do tempo too? Don't they just run up to the line and do that?
They sprint up to the line.
That's awesome.
I mean, it gave me some Carson Newman offense vibes for sure, man. I mean, it really did. So. But I'm looking forward to that one. It should be a really, really good one on Friday night.
What do you think about Elizabethton and Greenville?
Shocked, right? And it's hard to say you're shocked because Elizabethton's the defending champs, right? And they're they've got. I mean, they lost a lot, but you've got veterans on that team. They know the situation. The game is not too big. But I saw Greenville in week 1. We had them on Saturday night playing Central. And in week 1, when everybody's trying to figure it out, no one's as good as they're ever going to be. That's still the best football team I've seen all season long. I've seen a couple of good ones too back in week 1. Greenville was so good. They had a running back, Mason Gudger, I believe is his name, just fantastic. They had good linebacker play. And they destroyed Elizabethton the first time they played. So when I saw that score, I mean, even though it's Elizabethton, I was shocked.
Yeah, that they didn't. I would have picked the over in that game. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that Greenville team was one of the best teams I've ever seen in person. I saw them in the first round, and I was like, that's it. Go ahead and crown them. When I saw that score, I was like, holy crap.
Yep. Why you play the game, right?
Yep, absolutely. Well, Eric, we appreciate it, man. Always great talking with you.
Absolutely.
If you get a chance to come by the tailgate on Saturday, come on by.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, thank you as always. I got a blast. Anytime you want to chop it up again, just holler, all right?
Absolutely. See
you, man. Do it. Thanks, Eric.
You guys, happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
We appreciate Eric hopping on. Like he said, always a good time to talk balls, and we didn't talk high school football like we usually do with him. He's the man of many talents. He's covering high school football, covering the Vols, and so we didn't get that. Glad he threw that in there. That West Powell game is going to be a great game. I'm glad it is the one on TV Friday night. I just want to go back to Powell real quick. I thought that'd be a good ball game. I thought Ray County Powell. What was it? 24-0.
27-14, I think was the final.
Oh, okay. I thought Ray County got shut out. Credit to them. So
I think they scored pretty late.
I was about to say they must have gotten some garbage time, get some fantasy points. I appreciate it. Shout out to Ray County.
Yeah.
That's a good stuff there. Let's roll into some college football picks.
I do want to kind of mention Eric Kane real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
He is a man of many talents. He does VolQuest. He does the Rivalry Thursday. He does Locked On Vols. He does WNML in the mornings. He mentioned that he's got a recruiting show on Locked On Vols tomorrow that he'll release. So be on the lookout for that. His @ name is @_Kaner. So go check him out. Does a great job of covering. And Vol Steak is in here just praising Eric Kane. Loves him some Eric Kane.
As you should be.
He asked, how did y'all get a famous man on here? So we said local celebrity. That's Eric Kane. How do we get him? I had the pleasure of being one of his teammates at Carson Newman for a little bit. He's a little bit older than me. And he covers the Vols. I'm a fan of the Vols. We do this show. So it was just we've kind of stayed in touch over the years, and it's been a great resource for us to get on a famous guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Always appreciate him. We'll definitely do it here again soon. Maybe get some basketball talking here. It's a basketball season too, guys. Don't forget that.
We got another contact, Jarvis Rito.
Jarvis Rito
might be coming on the show soon. He said he would do it. I actually saw him at a tailgate in person. He said he'd come on. So, I'm gonna hold him to that.
Love that. Man, just out here, just networking, tailgate specifically, like only tailgates.
That's the best way to do it, man. You just show up, act like you're supposed to be there, and be like, "Hey, man, do this podcast. Come on."
Love it. Let's talk some. Let's talk a little bit of college football this week.
All right, my first thing, get Cedric Tillman to 1,000 yards. Let's just do it against Vanderbilt, so we don't have to worry about the bowl game.
That's fair. I would like that as well. I was about to say it is a tall task this week, but it's possible.
175. Let's cover the spread. Let's do it.
I think if you get him to 175, you cover the spread.
Yeah.
He might cover the spread himself if he gets to 175.
That's awesome. He should. And he's coming back next year. So you can throw it in Vanderbilt's face. Hey, he just got 175 yards, and the quarterback and wide receiver, hopefully, are coming back next year. So suck on that, Clark Lee. It's not Clark Lee's fault. I don't hate that guy, but he's the coach of Vanderbilt, so I have to hate him.
He coaches in a tie, doesn't he?
Does he?
Is it a tie?
I'll be honest. I haven't watched.
He wears a sweater weird.
I haven't watched a single Vanderbilt game because I would rather watch Maction.
That's fair. I did watch the Vanderbilt game or Georgia game. We watched it before Chad's wedding. You did watch it. He doesn't wear a tie. He just wears it weird. Before Chad's wedding, we all sat and watched like 8 games, and that was one of them.
Sure. I don't remember that at all.
He doesn't wear a tie, and he might be wearing a polo, but he wears it where it looks like a dress shirt. So I don't like it.
Oh, he does like the.
It's like the collar is the collar. No. It's just a pullover, like quarter zip, but the collar is like out there, and it just looks. It looks very. It looks like a dress shirt.
It looks like Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it looks terrible, like Vanderbilt.
They still the best, like.
Yeah,
up
they
in
do.
their locker room.
Well,
still.
I don't know if they do now since they fired the guy that wore it, but they did. They did for a while. You mentioned Maction. Buffalo Ball State played last night, as well as Western Michigan and Northern Illinois. I lost some money last night. I don't want to talk about it.
Who'd you pick?
I took Buffalo to cover. People convinced me. I was on Twitter and I saw people saying it. I want to take Ball State. I heard Buffalo. I did it. I don't even remember what was it. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not happy about it though. I'm not happy about it. We've got tomorrow night. I've got a lock here.
Okay.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. Mississippi State's favored too. Is Lane leaving? What in the hell? How are they favored 2 points?
Maybe it's because Vanderbilt scored 17 points on Ole Miss last week.
Maybe, but I'm taking Ole Miss to win, not just to cover, to win. That's insane to me. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. I think it's gonna be a close game.
Yeah, it's an Egg Bowl.
I mean, you got to take the over, right? Like that's the lock of the century. What is it? It might be 64. Like 80 points.
It's 64. Yeah, it seems lockable. Seems lockable. I agree. I do want to get your thoughts on this one. This is a Friday game. It's Kansas State and Texas. Texas is a 3-point favorite. Tell me, am I stupid for wanting to take Kansas State to win it? Texas is a shit show.
What was Kansas State
how else to say it.
And Baylor's score last week?
Baylor won.
It was 20-10.
Like I think they might have shut them. Okay, I was thinking they might have shut them out. But yeah, Texas is not a good football team. Not that Kansas State is great. So are you talking me out of it?
I'm
okay if you do. I just want to know.
I think that Texas has more talent than Kansas State. I think Kansas State's a better coach football team than Texas. What is Texas's record?
4-7. Is that doesn't add
How?
up? That does add up. 4-7. They're terrible. They're terrible. They should have lost by more to Kansas. They shouldn't have lost on a 2-point conversion.
Are they 4-6?
4-7.
They're 4-7. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way that should happen in the Big 12.
You mean SEC?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that one's bad. I'm taking Kansas State to win. I will not call that a lock. Don't lock it. I do have one more lock for you. Stop me if you have any on Thursday, Friday, though. You have skipped over any locks?
No, you're
for
good.
you. Okay. Cincinnati. They're just 14-point favorites over ECU, but this is a Cincinnati team that is now a college football playoff team. This is a Cincinnati team that wants to win and win big to prove the voters right. I'm taking Cincinnati to cover.
Okay. You can get in that game for $22.
That's a little expensive.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess you are watching a college football playoff team, so
right. Yeah. I don't know, man. That 14 points is a lot.
It's a lot, but
But they should, after they dismantled SMU last week, they should. Hopefully, they got some left in the tank to take care of ECU because, yeah, you are that number 4 team, and there's zero margin for error.
Yep, agreed. Another one I want to get your take on. This is another SEC matchup. This is also Friday. Missouri and Arkansas. Missouri's 14.5 point, or sorry, Arkansas's 14.5 point favorites.
I almost want to take Arkansas to cover.
Oh, wow. Okay, I wanted to take Missouri to cover. You told me my answer. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Because, dude, Missouri's bad too.
I know, but 14's a lot of points for two not great football teams. Like, both of them are not great. And Arkansas doesn't have, like, a high-power offense.
Missouri also almost lost to Vanderbilt.
Fair. They did beat Florida last week, though.
Missouri's going to a bowl game. That team that we played, what was it, third or fourth week of the season?
Yeah,
that team was terrible.
Oh, that awful.
And for them to be bowl eligible, props to Eli Drinkwitz.
I don't know if he's ever going to figure it out in the front half of the season, but he has both seasons. He's been the head coach at Missouri. He's figured it out in the back half. So credit to him. My next lock over Coastal Carolina, 56, Coastal in South Alabama. Lock it in. Do it right now. It's Friday game as well. Any Friday games you have on your card? Will NC State, North Carolina are playing. That's number 20. NC State, mentioned that one. Utah, number 19, Utah, who beat Oregon last week. 23-point favorites over Colorado.
UNC to cover.
Okay. 6 points? Or did you already take it? Different.
I haven't taken it yet. No.
Okay.
I'm done touching things at the first of the week. I'm just going to take it the day of.
Okay.
If I like it, I'm taking it. If not, I'm not waiting for the line to screw me over or help me any. I'm not doing that anymore because it usually screws me. Ty Chandler has 1,000 yards on the year. That's oh God.
Tells you enough. Yeah. Rolling into Saturday's games. Number 1 Georgia takes on Georgia Tech. I'm not touching that one. Just wanted to mention it because it is the number 1 team. We are officially in playoff season, boys.
I might take Georgia.
Okay, 35 points.
I mean, look at that leading rusher for Georgia Tech. Not even on the team anymore. Jahmyr Gibbs.
I know. The 35 is a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, Georgia Tech doesn't score, so if Georgia can score 35 points, I feel confident.
Fair. And then I want to do this. I want to take Ohio State 8 points over Michigan. But I will not be rooting for that because I root for chaos. And you know what would be absolute chaos? Michigan beating Ohio State.
Yeah, if Michigan beats, I mean, they're in.
Yeah.
And I mean, they got to win the Big Ten championship, but yeah, they're in. And they would jump Cincinnati in a heartbeat.
I root for chaos. Well, that would move Ohio State out of it. Maybe.
Right. So Michigan would jump them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cincinnati would stay at 4.
Yeah.
But it makes it chaotic, and I root for chaos. So sign me up. Sign me up for that one. Florida State, Florida. 2 teams battling for bowl eligibility. I kind of think Florida State wins this. I feel stupid for saying that. I just want you to know that.
What's the spread?
It's 2.5. Florida's favored 2.5.
Florida's favored.
Yeah, Florida State's bad.
Florida State is bad, but they've actually showed some promise.
Fair.
In the back half of the season. They look like they're about to be the same Florida State that we've seen the past couple of years, but
right.
They're playing a little bit better. I just think Florida is a waste bin.
I get that you wanted to fire Dan Mullen after the Missouri game. Like, I get that. But did they not they had no desire to be bowl eligible. They've already fired their defensive coordinator. They're down a significant portion of their staff, and you're not bowl eligible. I think you should have hung on to Dan Mullen for Florida State.
Well, they asked him to still coach, and he said no.
Right. I wouldn't have wanted to coach either if you already fired me. I'm leaving. Right. Bye.
Right.
I don't think they should have fired him until after Florida State. You've already, like I said,
now that we're talking about this, I feel like Florida covers because we've seen all through this year that teams find something when they fire their coach. LSU did it. TCU knocked off Baylor. Something happens when somebody fires a coach.
But this Florida team is weak-minded. They've proven that. I don't think it's the same. And like I said, they've lost half their staff.
That's true.
So I don't see it happening. I don't. How do you even prepare for a game without a head coach and a defensive coordinator?
Wing it.
Yeah, right? I mean, I guess maybe if they're good at backyard football, then maybe they can do it. Maybe they can do it. Auburn, Alabama. Iron Bowl. I love the Iron Bowl. I know people probably I'm sorry. I love the Iron Bowl.
I mean, pick Auburn to cover because Alabama ain't covered for shit.
And correct.
5 weeks.
Does this not just feel like an Auburn team that the one game they win is the Iron Bowl? Does it not feel like that Auburn team?
Man.
Here are the two types of
you're
Auburn.
wanting chaos, Caleb.
I know, but here are the 2 types of teams, the 2 types of Auburn teams that beat Alabama. The terrible Auburn teams and the national championship Auburn teams. There is no in between. The okay Auburn teams don't beat Alabama. There is only those 2. And this is a terrible Auburn team.
Yeah, they're not good. Does Bo Nix play?
That's also the key. If Bo Nix plays, sign me up for Auburn to cover, Auburn to win. Assuming he has a Heisman game. You never know with him. We've talked about that. So,
well, and Bryce Young could have a Heisman game too, and they could still lose because their defense is terrible.
Yeah, last week was bad for Alabama.
Henry To'oTo'o is just a curse.
Don't put that on him.
I mean, good God.
Don't do that to him. Any other games you want to talk about? There's not really anything.
Now that I say that, I got to get his jersey out of my closet. I got to go burn that somewhere. It's bad juju.
I would love to be a part of that. Actually, I do have 2 more games I want to talk about. Oklahoma State. Because whoever wins this game could be in the playoff.
Yep.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
How are they sitting at 10-7?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
How does Alabama win and move down? College football playoff makes no sense. I'm sorry.
They literally got them like stacked. Like it seems like race cars. Like they're just going around a track, and if one like has to take a pit stop, they're down a lap, so they have to go back in like 7th to 10.
I like that reasoning. I'll give you that. That's the best reasoning I've heard. They need to hire you for their PR. That's the best reason I've heard.
Does that not what it feels like though?
No, I agree. And like Notre Dame being at 6 is so dumb because you're telling me an 11-1 Notre Dame team isn't getting into the playoff. Honestly, over Cincinnati,
they're getting it,
and they're at number 6. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Well, how far do you? I mean, I guess if Ohio State loses, they're back to like 10th, right? Like that's how it's going to work out.
They might fall out of top 25 at this rate. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. But yeah, that one's definitely going to be an interesting one. And then I do want to talk about this one. because I just want to know: is there some way in hell that South Carolina beats Clemson?
Hell no. Roman Harper's a freaking moron.
I didn't know anybody predicted that. I'm just
That
curious.
team
They're
beat
terrible. I just
Vanderbilt
wanted
by
to know. Is there a
one.
chance? I just want to know if there's a chance.
Shane Beamer, coach of the year. Hell no. He beat Vanderbilt by 1 point. I know we still got to beat Vanderbilt, but I'm not here claiming Josh Heupel should get it over Kirby Smart either.
I'm excited to have that debate next week. Who wins the SEC coach of the year? I'm excited for Sundays.
Good Lord. I mean,
Very excited.
that South Carolina offense is terrible. We know that. We saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
Clemson has a defensive line that's probably Georgia's definitely number one. But behind that, it's probably Clemson.
Yeah.
So there's no way. 11.5 points. Clemson just needs to score 2 touchdowns, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That was the dumbest. I picked South Carolina to win. How? What?
What leads you to that point? How do you get there?
Yeah. You beat an uninspired Florida team that got their kind of coach fired almost. He was on the ledge, and then Missouri just put the nail in the coffin. And then you beat a bad Auburn team with a backup quarterback. Coach of the year? Beat Vanderbilt by 1. That automatically takes you out.
All right, I'm going to get you off Shane Beamer. Does Shane Beamer go to Virginia Tech? Never mind. Don't answer that. Okay.
Yeah, he's back.
Don't answer that. You're good.
Hendon Hooker's transferring back too.
I know you said you're not putting locks out for yourself until Saturday now. So or I guess tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday now. Any locks that you want to drop on the show, or you just
I do like Cincinnati minus. I do like Cincinnati minus 14.
Okay.
And I also kind of like Michigan State minus 1 over Penn State. I think they got exposed last week. I don't think Penn State has they definitely don't have the same firepower Ohio State does, and I think they have a bounce back game where, just pick a money line. But yeah, minus 1 will get you a little bit more. But I think they'd probably beat Penn State.
All right.
I think Kenneth Walker has already kind of taken him. That game could probably push him out of the Heisman race. I think he wants back in it. So I think this is a big game for him too.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's do you ready to go to segments then, or you got anything else for college football? I know I didn't get it all.
That's all I got, man. I'm ready.
Perfect.
I'm loving this week of sports.
I know. I always forget about this week. It's very underrated, I think, because you're just kind of preparing for the holidays. So I'm ready. And
I can't wait for tomorrow after I eat, turn on the freaking Bears and Lions and just take a nap, because that is going to be a snooze fest. What's trending? Let's get to these real quick. Joe, you want to come in here? Get some of these? Got some what's trending?
Sure. I also got to ask Joe, what are you going to do if Tennessee loses to Vanderbilt?
I would probably switch my flight as early as possible and come riot with you, because I would. I don't know.
Yes, dude. I love it.
I would riot though, in uncertainly for hours on it, and it would be the ugliest thing you've ever seen.
All right, we've got 2. You guys can join in.
Joe's got a lot of mustard. He went to Costco.
Oh yeah, we got that bulk pack.
Yeah,
and golf balls.
My first thing is the fan during WWE attacked Seth Rollins. Did you see that?
Yeah. What the heck?
Also, can he play linebacker?
Fair.
He was moving.
He was moving. His butt crack was out and everything. Dude.
It's a great
time. Most of the people there thought it was like real. Or thought it was like them, just a show.
Yeah.
I did originally.
I did too.
It's like WWE to me.
I thought he was just a wrestler. He's wearing red pants and a black shirt. That's what most of the wrestlers wear.
exclusive
Yeah.
WWE gear.
Yeah. Man, that was awesome. We should have more of that.
I saw a TikTok video this week of a guy going into like a midget wrestling event. Like he invaded the rink and he got beat up. So I thought maybe we'll see that guy on TikTok soon.
Yeah, I feel like you should maybe not do that with like guys that are just absolutely jacked.
Well, this dude got a shiner from it too. So it's never a good idea, apparently.
No.
They jumped his ass. It was actually really funny.
Oh, the midget wrestling guy?
Yes, it was
I need to
fantastic.
see that.
I'll see if I can find it. I don't know when I saw it.
Kicked in the face and stuff, just getting absolutely mauled.
My next one is Dickie V coming back.
Yeah.
He's currently battling cancer, but he was back calling the Gonzaga UCLA game. Couldn't help but, drop some tears in there, but really cool to see him back. I know people really don't like when he calls Tennessee games, but, he's
a type of dandy.
He's college basketball. College basketball is better with him in it. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Fran can get the hell out of here.
I don't know. This week, Fran's got me on his side, I think.
Yeah.
I'm watching a video.
The close people to him call him Santi. So
can we talk about how I would have never guessed he was foreign from the video of him talking today? Did you watch it?
His English has gotten a lot better.
Well, it's not just his English. It's like his dialect is perfect. It doesn't sound it's amazing. I was shocked. I was like, maybe I'm not hearing this correctly. I don't know. But then I saw people replying the same thing I was thinking. So
yeah,
I was with it. I'm watching a video right now of a Georgia Tech fan getting thrown out of a volleyball game, and it's hilarious.
Nice.
He gets ejected. It's a fan, and he walks up. He has to go down the stands, like to the court, because I guess that's how you enter in, like a high school basketball court. And he walks up to the ref that's on the net and just flips him off, like to his face, as he's getting escorted out.
Oh,
love the effort. Yeah, he went the extra mile. It's something I would do.
It's what I'll be doing if we lose to Vanderbilt.
Yes, there you go.
I'll be taking a whole swan dive off the bridge. That's all I got for what's trending.
I don't have anything. I've got two stupidities, but
all right, let's get to it. Joe, you got any what's trending?
I'm assuming you guys saw the Everson Griffin thing.
Yeah, that was
the Vikings defensive end that like locked himself in the house and went like full psycho, and he like started shooting or something. I think he genuinely thought he saw people in his house and he's seeing stuff, but hopefully he gets the help he needs because the video is wild. He was throwing Dalvin Cook under the bus and everything. He's like, "Yeah, Dalvin Cook told me to get this gun." I was like, yeah. Dalvin Cook's like, whoa. What are you saying my name for?
I heard it was Kirk Cousins.
Dang, Landon's throwing other people under the bus here now.
You like that?
Jeez.
And then the last one I had was somebody in North Korea was sentenced to death after smuggling Squid Game episodes into a high school where kids were caught watching it. So don't live in North Korea.
What? Oh, I was like, what?
Jeez.
I missed the North Korea part.
Yeah.
I was like, where?
No, this did not happen within United States jurisdiction.
People in Mississippi are getting crazy.
Yeah. North Korea is wild, dude. That's like a reality show in real life. Like the stuff that they get away with. That's just incredible. But that's all I got.
I've got a stupidity, and I've got my man Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
They asked him about the rivalry, and he said, "It is just football. You really shouldn't hate people because of where you go to school." That's
what makes a rivalry.
Sports fandom. That's a lot of sports. That I know.
So you know what a rivalry means?
He can't stay at a team
Does
long
he
enough to
understand
build
that?
a rivalry.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Does he understand that like people don't actually hate people because they go to Mississippi State? Does he get that? I don't know. Lane Kiffin's an idiot.
Oh yeah,
And I hate
mean,
that Tennessee fans
definitely-
give him fuel.
Yeah, he's not a head coach because he's smart.
We just, God.
Speaking of dumb, or I guess this could be cool to somebody, but did you see Kyle Kuzma's freaking get up before the game?
Yeah.
That
Those
was
sleeves.
something.
What is that?
He looked like he had his boyfriend's sweater on. Like his high school boyfriend. He went into his English class to get his sweater from him. Comes out just like.
I want to know, like, you spent a lot of money on that to look like a moron.
Oh yeah, I bet that was like a $400 sweater, if not more.
Oh yeah, probably more. It was hand stitched. I also got a Reggie Bullock. He did y'all see this with the shoes? So he had some Kobe's on, and he put sniper. He wrote sniper alert on his shoes. He then went 0 for 2 in 31 minutes.
Oh my gosh,
He's hot.
Dude, shoot or shoot. I mean,
jeez,
he set himself up for that.
yeah, that's a hot seat issue right there.
Well, karma's fun sometimes.
Yeah.
My favorite stupidity of the week is our boy Stephen A. Smith, but it's not just people calling him stupid. Did you see JJ Redick go after him?
I didn't see that.
So I don't know what the original Stephen A. quote was, but it was along the lines of he was saying no one feared LeBron. I mean, it was after the fight this week, and he was saying no one feared him. JJ Redick was like, he goes into all this thing, and then eventually he's like, Stephen A's like, I mean, you watched the game, JD. He's like, I played the game. I played with LeBron for 15 years. Like, I know what people think about LeBron James. And he's like, you're an idiot, pretty much. And it was awesome. Stephen A had no idea what to say. But I haven't heard the original point by Stephen A. Smith. All I know is it was probably stupid, and I love that JJ Redick on first take just went right back at him.
Like, you're a moron. That's awesome.
Also, I'm not saying LeBron doesn't deserve maybe more than one game, but because that was a nasty elbow. But do people understand that Isaiah Stewart was suspended for what happened after the initial elbow?
Right.
It took an entire court of people to hold him back.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is him and LeBron were nose to nose. He had an opportunity to what he wanted to do, he could have done, but he waited till everybody was holding him back, and then he's like, something clicked that it just, I don't know if Russell Westbrook said something to him. I don't know what happened, but something pissed him off after the fact.
Well, LeBron got himself out of the mix within the first 2 seconds too. He just started backing out, and before you know it, he's just fighting random Lakers players. LeBron's kind of back up against the bench, kind of being like, "What's this dude's problem?" I don't know. It was just,
who is this guy? I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird. It is a long video of him just and I love that the announcer is warning the Lakers players, hey, he could come out the other side.
I still haven't seen the entire video, the whole everything that transpired, because it's cut from one point to another. So I have no idea. But
yeah, I don't know how much time actually transpired between, because you're right, the video does cut where it just kind of jumps around. And it's there was a solid 2 minutes where we just kept trying to go at him though.
I miss the days where it felt like a good NBA fight happened every weekend. Those are the good old days.
Yeah, I want more NBA fights. I want them to be a little more eased on the rules.
Make NBA fun again.
Exactly.
My next one is Roman Harper just saying, I'm calling my shot. South Carolina's going to win this game, and they might win by double digits.
Oh, God, he did not say that.
Roman Harper, they're not going to score double digits. Yeah, not great. I mean, he did play football for a long time. I'm just going to say that. My next one is Matthew Judon. Says get mac and cheese off the table on Thanksgiving. Not a fan of mac and cheese.
Ice cold take.
Yeah.
That's a terrible take.
I think the Patriots should release him just for that comment.
That's what? It's the best side. Who's making his mac and cheese?
Yeah,
and he's from Louisiana? That's just bad.
I would literally, like I tweeted this today, if my mom was like, hey, we're not having mac and cheese anymore, I wouldn't come.
I wouldn't go.
And I'm not talking to you for a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go. No doubt about it.
No.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. He must just have awful mac and cheese because, like, it's just perfect. It blends with everything. You got, like, a roll and some turkey, and it's just all mixing.
That's all I need. All I need is ham, turkey, and mac and cheese. I'm good. Now, I'll take
10 other sides I would mix.
But I'm good. You look like you're about to get yelled at, Landon.
My wife just told me to hurry up.
All right, wrap it up.
Yep, wrap it up. I guess she needs my help for something.
That's all my stupidity, so I'm good.
Yeah, that's all I got to. Well, guys, see you Saturday. Joey,
see you Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll FaceTime you.
Yeah, I'll be there.
That's so good.
Guys, it's been fun. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll be back on Sunday all together.
Yep. See you guys. We're bringing